Smooth 98.1, Lagos, Nigeria world. It is gone past 6:30 here. And on your Love Music, Love Life station, that means that it is Business Express for the next 15 or so minutes. I'm Sope Martins, and joining me for those minutes to make the most of them is Rotus. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Sope. Good morning to all our listeners, viewers. Hey, it's Thursday. Week is almost over. Let's go.
Almost over. Yes. Counting down. All right. And to all our viewers, make sure you leave your comments up on the live stream on youtube.com/smooth981fm. And that's also to potential viewers. You know where to go now to watch us. You can also send messages via WhatsApp to 0809 440 981, or you can take it to Twitter where we are at smooth981fm. And yes, that's it. At Smooth981FM, use the hashtag BusinessExpress981 Rotus. Okay, so we heard some news that the president has signed a startups bill, or the startups bill, into law. How's this going to fare for startups? What's happening here?
Yeah, so yeah, it's good news. It's good news. Let's although some people will say he should have signed it since, and that he's just leaving office and now he's signing it. But anyway, let's not get into that side. So it's now officially the Startup Act, and Dr. Issa Pantami, Minister of ICT Minister, Digital Economy Minister, broke the news yesterday in a tweet. In fact, I need to forward this picture to you, Sope. It's so meme worthy. The smile that he has. Okay, no, you have the picture, right? I think I sent it to you already, where he's standing over the president as the president is signing.
Oh, right, yeah. Very happy.
So anyway, the Startup Act is supposed to be about making an enabling environment for startups, for the tech ecosystem. And it's really about collaboration between the tech ecosystem and regulators. As you know, there have been some skirmishes in the past with respect to the relationship between the two. So what this act is supposed, and this is a collaboration between the private sector, tech folks in the private sector, and then the Ministry of the ICT Ministry, Digital Economy Ministry. Pantami was involved, and there were mediators in between. So they both worked together on this. I think since it was December of last year that it was sent to Buhari, the bill was sent to the National Assembly, sorry, the Senate. Senate passed it and sent it to the National Assembly, scaled the number of readings, and then now here we are with the president signing it. So the thing is, if you think about the two parties, startups, the value creators and the regulators, what to a startup would be disruptive, and disruptive sounds like a good word for those in that ecosystem. That might sound like displacement to the regulator and might put them off. And so the regulator might now go and take an action that will be seen as detrimental to the ecosystem, and back and forth
legs off out of them. Yeah.
Right. So this bill is supposed to, allow there to be collaboration between the two. There's a consultative committee or something that's part of this bill. I think the president is part of that consultative committee. I think the CBN governor is part of it. The minister of ICT minister is part of it as well, where they will look over possible regulations that might impact the ecosystem. But the thing is that they are working together at all times. So everybody's on the same page. They know what's going on. I understand there's about 10 billion naira or so in seed funding that is going to be managed by the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority. And that is going to use that seed funding to provide assistance to startups in the tech ecosystem. There's a portal. I think you have to qualify and you have to be qualified and labeled as a startup through that portal as part of this act. If you're labeled as such, and then you can now get the benefits. There's tax incentives, a moratorium on paying income taxes and so on, and different things.
Tax holidays, all of that.
Tax holidays, right. So, look, Sope, the only good news coming outside of sports and entertainers around the world is tech, with the money that the tech people are doing.
Fashion.
Well, fashion, yeah. Fashion people are doing well. They're doing well.
Our soft power is growing.
Yeah, it is. And so this act, the only thing is that, we wish it came sooner, much sooner, but it will be carried on by the next administration, hopefully, fingers crossed, because there will be continued collaboration. We just wish it came earlier, but if you think about our tech ecosystem and think about this, all the things that happened in the past, hopefully they are now moving in one step with this act. So it's good news. It's good news all around.
Better late than never, basically.
Exactly. And so, now you can hopefully get, the issue is funding, regulation, enabling environment. Funding, regulation, regulation and enabling environment. I think those two, you can join them together. But yeah, so those are the main things. And we just hope that going forward, because we need to create more jobs, right? But with respect to, the ecosystem, create more jobs, attract foreign direct investments into the country. And Nigeria's tech, ecosystem has been a bright spot. So this act will go a long way in trying to get that, going.
Yeah, apparently it's been a great contributor to GDP. So, great stuff. All right.
Yeah. Oh, yes,
now, hold on 1 second. Let me just confirm. Remember to send your messages into 0809 440 981 to get in on this story. And now let's talk about our CBN loans and turning loans into bonds. It's like water to wine.
Yeah. So this is also good news, I think.
Rotus, look at you. You're like, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Let's celebrate something that looks like a win.
Yeah. I'm interested in what people will think about this, but something had to be done about ways and means financing, which is loans that the central bank has been extending to the federal government. So far
doing that.
You're right. They've been doing that, I think, since 2015. They've been drawing on the central bank. Central bank has been funding government to meet its revenue shortfalls. Central Bank of Nigeria is the bank of last resort. I mean, the CBN, look, the support it has handed out to virtually every sector plus the federal government. It's a loss, right? It is. And now the thing is, those loans have, I think it's about 20 trillion naira now so far in total. And it is not part of our debts. It's like when the debt management office releases figures for our debt, I think as at June or September, our total debt is 42 trillion naira. If you use the official exchange, that's about $100 billion, right? So it's a lot of money. That's total debt stock, right? That 42 trillion that is officially recognized by the debt management office does not include the 20 trillion that has been extended to the federal government from the central bank. So you add that, you're looking at 60 trillion in debts, right? Total debt. So, and in fact, there's a finance act where the amount of money extended from the central bank to the government is not supposed to be more than 5% of the prior year's revenues. And if you use that law, that means the CBN shouldn't be giving more than a few 100 billion naira. But this year alone, they've extended about 4 trillion. So that act, it's in violation, right? It's in violation of that act. So what they've decided to do, Zainab Ahmed, Minister of Finance, I think it was just yesterday, she was briefing reporters in Abuja. Also, I think Bloomberg spoke to Patience Oniha, the Director General of the Debt Management Office. She sent a text to confirm they're going to securitize this loan. So what it basically means is they're just taking the loan and turning it into another loan with more time to pay for it. They're going to turn it into a bond and invest in
bonds, right?
Right. So you can buy into it. I can buy into it. Our listeners can buy into it if you have confidence that they will be paid off over time. So you get an interest rate, and essentially they're just extending this. So now we have to see how the market reacts to it and whether or not they believe, because again, you're adding, more debts. Well, it was already there, but you're bringing it to light and you're letting everybody know how much is there. And so the issue now is it being paid off over time. So that's what we're seeing with that bit of news.
Okay, so Benga comes in with this message saying, water to wine. I gather that the BBC described the Liz Truss government in Britain as living from hand to mouth and living hour by hour. With our rising debts, is this not a graphic description of the state of affairs in Nigeria? When are we going to talk about paying back and not borrowing and borrowing? Question.
Yep. That is a great point. I mean, I think capital expenditure. Okay, no, let me put it this way. the 2023 budget has, I think, about 6 trillion naira for debt servicing. 6 trillion, that does not include this 20 trillion. So what, to Benga's points, and then I think capital expenditure is like 5 trillion. So what you're paying in debt servicing is more than what you have for capital expenditure for infrastructure projects. So you can imagine adding this now. It's more. It's just, you know, it's a lot. And think about it in personal finance terms. We had personal finance yesterday in the afternoon on the drive time discussion. If you owe people a lot of money, that limits your ability to be able to use your money for more productive means, because so much of what you owe is eating into your pockets. And so you're just trying to settle your debt. So it has an impact on productivity.
Hold on, just to confirm, settle off the debts or settle off the interest on the debts?
It is so debt servicing is interest on your debt. So that's a lot. And that just means that you are paying a lot towards what you owe. But the cost, that just essentially talks about the cost of your debt. I mean, a partial amount goes to interest, a partial amount to go towards the principal, but the interest gulps so much because you have such a large outstanding amount that's there. So the issue, though, look, fuel subsidies are part of this conversation. If you weren't paying so much money on fuel subsidies in the trillions, you would have money to be able to pay off your debts, and also attend to capital expenditure. Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, as finance minister under Obasanjo, she paid off our Paris Club debts. We were debt-free at one point in this country, so,
you don't know what you've got until it's gone, man.
Right, exactly. So,
don't know.
So, yeah, it's...
You were going to say, by the way?
Yeah, well, she's a GCON. That's what I was going to ask. She was honored recently at in Abuja. So congratulations to Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. So yeah, I mean, that's where we are. Nigeria's debt is still, and so look, whoever becomes, president, they have to attend to all these issues. I mean, people are going to be asking them, what are your plans for the startup community? Will you uphold the startup bill? What are your plans for the debts for this nation? How will Nigeria continue to grow and be productive when we owe so much money? How will you create jobs? The president, whoever is president next year, they're in for it. It's a lot of work.
All right, let me take this message from EIA, who says, Rotus, 40 years is too long. I think it should be maximum of 10 years. This is not fair. Trust me, it may not succeed. While Gilbert,
how do you pay off 20 trillion in 10 years? A lot. So that's what, 2 trillion a year? That's a lot of money.
We're still talking about how to figure out that 10.87 trillion deficit. So
thank you.
I don't know. All right, and Gilbert Musa from Festac says, good news on the signing of the startup bill, but let's ask ourselves, what happened to the agricultural guarantee fund of 100 million naira for the purpose of securing agriculture loans given by banks in 1977? As Rotus said, regulation is key.
Indeed, regulation is very much key. You don't want policy somersaults in this country.
Otunaga Sunday says, if you have a company as big as any of those listed on the NGX, would you hire the caliber of our present finance minister as your chief financial officer? We get what we put in. That is called a rhetorical question.
Indeed.
Says, where will the incoming president get funding and money to fund his policies and projects?
That is a very, very pertinent question. So in personal finance, either you raise your income or you cut your expenditure. By raising income, you bring in more money. If you cut expenditure, you save money. The question now is, where do you cut? Do you sell government-owned entities? Do you reduce staff? What do you do? So this is why we need to ask these questions.
Do you also maybe reach out to museums across the world who have your artifacts that they took from you and never gave back? Not just send it back, or at least start paying you some money for renting it out and keeping it for hundreds of years.
Exactly.
There are innovative ways to figure out how you can make money. All right, Rotus, that's it. We've come to the end of the show, but So many messages are coming in. People, it's the end of the show. I'll forward them to Rotus. He'll talk about with you on Twitter. So go and find him on Twitter. He's at Rotancode. If you didn't check out the picture or the video that he puts up of the greenery under the Falmouth Bridge, then go and find him at Rotancode. Same handle across Instagram and Twitter as well. Rotus, I'll see you tomorrow for Tech Friday.
All right.
You passed. All right. You did good marks on your assignments. Good news. Good news. You tried.